In today's video, we're talking sex, we're talking marriage.
Who says we're getting married?
We're talking everything in between. I feel pathetic. So let's get into it. All right, it's Wednesday, and I know what you're thinking.
It's Wednesday. What about Monday? What happened on Monday?
Well, I decided I just didn't want to film on Monday or Tuesday this week, so I gave myself a little break. But I did do a run. I'll pop it somewhere here, somewhere. Just an easy 35. But it is session day. And again, you're probably asking,
But session days are on Friday.
yeah, I know. But we're traveling down south for a family occasion on Friday. So I thought it'd just be easier to get the session done on a Wednesday and do an easy run on Friday instead. I'll let you know about the session in a second. But before then, I'm gonna answer a couple of questions that you guys have sent in. So Sam asks, do you think you would be running if you weren't with Philly currently? I think the honest answer to this is probably no. If I look back at the types of exercise that I was doing before I met Philly, running was not in the picture. I think there's a potential for me to have got a bit fed up with my fitness at some point and maybe got into going to the gym and then through that maybe doing some cardio. But if I'm gonna be honest, I think it's a no. And while I'm waiting for Philly to get ready for her run so I can drop her off and then go for mine, I'll answer another one. All right, Jason asks, Jason is one of our lovely patrons over on Philly's channel, always an amazing supportive person. He asks, when Philly goes to the Olympics, what other sport are you most interested to see? I think some of the sports that I've never seen, either television or live. So something like watching the skateboarding would be really, really cool. I know there's surfing. I don't know if there's gonna be surfing in Paris, but I know in LA there's gonna be surfing, which is kind of cool. The kayaking is pretty cool. And I used to be a swimmer and I've never watched competitive swimming. When you watch running on the television, you can't really comprehend how fast they're running. So I think it would just be really interesting to see competitive Olympic swimming to see how crazy fast these guys and gals are going. Yeah, skateboarding, surfing, kayaking, swimming. That's probably what I'd go watch. All right, let's go run a session in the summer heat of Stockport. It's gonna be a hot one. Let's get it. All right, before I get onto my session, might as well answer another question. P. Woody asks, how does it feel to have your own spin-off series? I feel like that's a slightly backhanded compliment. This ain't a spin-off series. This is the main channel now. Billy just has to understand that when my channel overtakes hers, it's not personal, it's just business. In all seriousness, it's been higher and lower than I expected. Let me explain. Because Philly's channel is not me, although I'm a huge part of it, it's not me on the camera. So comments and feedback, they don't affect me that much because it's Philly's channel. Psychologically, it's slightly different. However, now that I have my own channel, the comments are coming directly to me. The lovely comments mean so much more to me. But, and this is very rare, you know, and I've only been doing it for a couple of weeks. The occasional time I get a bad comment, and at the moment, there's been no hate. It's just been constructive criticism on certain things. I take it to heart a little bit more, which is just something I wasn't expecting. But I've got quite thick skin. I have to, as an actor. Oh, and that reminds me, there is a question about my acting career and if you guys would have ever seen me in anything, and I will get to that later, so stick around for that. But I hear you cry, Daniel, what session have you got to do? Well, it's a nasty one. This is a proper speed session, so let me take it through you. It's 5 by 30 off of 45 seconds. Then it is 4 minutes off of 90. Then it's 10 by 75 off of 60 with a 90-second rest at the end of that. And then we kind of go round again. So it's 4 with 90 seconds and then 5 by 30. I'll pop that on the screen because I'm not sure I explained that very well. I'm a bit nervous. Let's get to it. All right, well, I'm done. Cheeky little question before I start. Emma asks, have you ever shat on the floor like Philly? If people don't understand what that's referring to, Philly has had many a story where she's had to do a number 2 on the run, and I feel like that's quite a big thing in the running community. I have never had to poo on a run. I'm pretty good at relieving myself before I go for my run, so I haven't needed to do that. But I feel like it's probably coming soon, especially as I'm pushing up the mileage for half marathon training, being out on long runs for way more than an hour. I feel like probably gonna get there at some point, and I need to remember to take tissues with me on the run because it's just gonna hit me one time and I'm gonna be caught short. So fun times to come.
I really want to tell you guys this is going great. That would be lying. I'm set 2 into the 10 reps of 75. And I just can't get down to the speed that I want to get to. Anyway, let's just get it finished. Alright, session done. Had to have a little cool off walk. I'm really proud of myself because there was a point in the middle of those 75s I was like, I could just cut this down by 2 75s and do 8 or scrap the second 4, but I got it done. I did the effort, so that's good. But this reminded me of a question that someone asked on my YouTube call out for the Q&A, and this is Alex. Alex says, do you ever feel like an inferior athlete when running / watching Philly, and how do you overcome that? 90% of the time, no. Because we're just in completely different worlds, and I appreciate that she's been doing this for years and years and years, and the stacking of fitness on top of fitness and the consistency and the solid work that she puts into it. I've only been running for a few months. I'm almost certain I'll never get to that level. So there's just no point comparing because they're just two different things. It's almost like two different sports. The 10% of the time that I'm like, oh my God, I feel pathetic in comparison is when I'm doing my 30-second sprints, which I'm running kind of at high 5-minute miling, and probably not the right thing to do, but I remind myself every time I'm running those that this is just slower than Philly's marathon pace, and I am sprinting or pushing myself as hard as I possibly can for 30 seconds, and it kills me, and she's doing that for 2+ hours, which is just insane. The way that I cope, I guess, I'm running my own race. There's really no point comparing yourself to other people. I think running for most people is not a competition. It's a competition against yourself, and that's where I kind of bring it back to me all the time. How can I push myself to be better? And looking at these amazing athletes inspires me to do that. So that's how I do it. I'm deceased. This one always comes and says hi when I get back from a session.
Someone asked what our cats' names are, and I do forget sometimes that there might be a few of you guys that haven't come from Philly's channel or haven't watched one of her Q&A videos, but this is Uhtred. Uhtred is named after a Viking in one of our favourite Netflix series, The Last Kingdom, and then Delilah, who will probably be hiding away somewhere. She's a very timid cat, bless her. Her name is Delilah. Right, enough of that.
This year was really good. I'm moving forward. My right leg's issues are going away. It's a lot more loose. She said that my hip's been the best since I've been seeing her, so it's all moving in the right direction, which is great.
Good morning. It is Thursday. Day off for me, but going on the bike today with Philly for her session because she's had to move her session days around because we're going down south, so no one else is running with her, so I thought I'd keep her company. But while I'm sitting here having my coffee, I thought I'd answer another question. So Ben here asks, was I ever involved in any sports growing up? He's also asked, what are your current hobbies aside from YouTube and running? I got on the call with my parents, just a catch-up call, and my mum reminded me after watching the video about why I hate exercise, which goes through my journey with exercise, and if you haven't watched that, go give it a watch. My mum berated me a little bit because I completely forgot I did a lot of swimming when I was a kid from a very young age. I also played football when I was a kid. I was a goalkeeper for a very long time. In terms of hobbies, I don't have many. YouTube, running, acting. What's great about those is that basically they're hobbies that have become work. So I don't really have other hobbies, which sounds really sad, but it's true. I asked for some juicy questions, Philly, and I think people have taken it the wrong way. We've got a lot of sex questions. This person asks, has the newly gained fitness helped you in bed? Plot twist, Philly only trains you because she wants more stamina. What have you got to say for yourself? Get your minds out of the gutter, guys. Come on. I'm not going to talk about my sex life on YouTube. Let's ask an actual question that maybe you can reply to. Nick Dolby asks,
Sounds like a wrong one.
He asks, when am I going to propose?
When is he gonna propose?
No, when am I going to propose?
Oh. That is for you to know, and for you to know.
I mean, that's another question that we got asked a lot.
Also, who says we're getting married?
Yeah.
Maybe we're gonna have a civil partnership. Maybe. We'll have some... I'm not gonna say...
And a bat.
In the bed.
Billy's making me cycle up, honestly, the worst hill in the world. Why do I do this? It's so hard. And this isn't even the worst of it. I'm gonna have to walk. All right, here we go. Back up the hill. Oh.
It's not that steep.
Oh, it's so steep. It's so steep.
You did a way worse one coming out.
Shh. This is for dramatic effect. This is better. Cruising. Just cruising. Cruising for a cruising. This is more like it. Thank you.
Helping.
Alrighty then. I thought I'd sit down because I've got a couple of queries about my acting career. So I thought I'd answer a couple of those questions in one. So we've got a question here that says, have you ever been in a TV show or advert that we might have seen you in as an actor or a voiceover artist? Short answer is no, probably not. But that doesn't mean that I haven't done some really, really cool jobs in my acting career. And that brings me on to the second question. What's your proudest acting moment? Would love to hear about your experience as an actor. I'll get to my proudest moments in a second, but I just want to walk you through a couple of kind of cool jobs that I've done in my acting career. So to start with, the only feature film that I've ever been part of is a film called Mia and the Dragon Princess. Such a cool name. It's directed by a guy called Mark Price, who is this amazing film nerd who just loves gore and zombies, and yeah, he's just a brilliant director with a crazy, imaginative, creative mind, and it was just a pleasure to kind of be on set with him, even if it was just for, I think I was in the film for about a minute. But I do die. That's pretty cool. I get killed pretty brutally, which is fun to film. I get dragged downstairs as well, which was interesting. Probably my most interesting or my bigger jobs have all come through voiceover. So I've done quite a lot of ADR, which is, it's called automated dialogue replacement, which basically in a film, when you see a kind of a large scene with lots of people in it, the only people making noise are the people who are speaking. When you see people in the background, they've got to be quiet, otherwise it'll be picked up on the mic and it will be almost impossible to edit. So when you see like club scenes or big moments where two people are having a small conversation in a cafe or something, everyone else is absolutely silent, even if it looks like they're speaking. And then afterwards, what ADR is they get a big group of voiceover artists to come into a studio and record all of those sounds. So cafe sounds, people walking past on the street, all that kind of good stuff. So I've done ADR on Rocket Man, the Elton John film, The Chelsea Detective, which was I think it was a crime thing on ITV, and then The Outlaws, which was probably the most fun. I think I played 20 characters on that show in the background somewhere. I'm also an agent on the phone. Really great fun, and it normally is about 8 people in a room just kind of messing about. Another crazy voiceover job that I did in 2019 is that I was the announcer for the Monaco Yacht Show Awards. So imagine the Oscars. I voiced the person who goes, and the winner is blah 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 blah, which was great fun. Yeah, probably one of my weirder jobs. I've done a few commercials for Sony and for Hydro, which is it's like Peloton but for rowing. Now, let's get on to probably my proudest moments when it comes to acting. And again, it is voiceover, but it's kind of in the middle between voiceover and acting, I guess, but it's video games. So I've voiced 10 or so characters in different video games, and my two favourite are Total War Warhammer 3. So if anyone knows Warhammer, it's their big kind of strategy game. I was a demon on that, so there was lots of kind of shouting and war sounds, and yeah, whenever you click on the character, they say something, and that's me. And then the one that I've done most recently, but I've been doing characters for this for, I think it was 2 years, on and off for 2 years. It was Skull and Bone, but over the last couple of years I've been doing different voices. So I'm pirates, I'm mercenaries, I'm lots of different characters on that game, which again, really, really great fun, and loved every second of it. Yeah, those are my proudest moments as an actor. I will continue to keep grinding away at it. It is a grind as a job. You're just waiting for that audition, the foot in the door, you know. And what's brilliant about creating content and really and editing and finding something that I really enjoy doing is that I'm just happy to kind of keep plodding away with that in the background. And if by some awesome miracle I suddenly get my big break, then it happens. But for now, keep grinding. I'm gonna go and edit some more YouTube videos, and I will see you tomorrow for some more questions.
I've never done this before. I've never rolled out of bed and just gone for a run. Normally, have breakfast, have coffee, sit for a bit, wake up and go, but we've got to leave at a good time today to get to Philly's physio, and then we're going straight from her physio down south. So yeah, my legs are just not awake at the moment. It's just a really, really interesting experience. Let's get this run done and then we'll get going. All right, we are journeying down south. We've washed the car because I don't know if anyone else experienced this, but the dust, the sand everywhere on cars. Just woke up one day, sand everywhere. So we've just cleaned off the car, and then, yeah, we're heading down south. I love this question. If you could exchange lives with one athlete, who would it be and why? I'm gonna pick someone in the running space and then someone not in the running space. So I think, firstly, I'd probably pick Kipchoge just to experience what that feels like to run that fast. Look who's here.
I got sweets.
So I'm just answering a question, and someone's asked me if I could exchange lives with one athlete, who would I change my life with? I don't think so. No, I've said one running one, so I've said Kipchoge, and then I thought, what other sport would I?
Probably Formula One.
Oh, that is such a good shout. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Yeah, an F1 driver. I'd love to experience how fast those cars go. Yeah, I'd probably do that. All right, we're on the road. I'll check in later. What are you doing?
Mixing.
Billy just went out for a 7-mile run. I jumped on the bike. Billy's off to a 1-year-old's party today. Shout out Miles. He's probably watching, you know.
He loves YouTube.
He loves YouTube. I am being dropped off at my parents' house so I can get on with some work, because we have got 2 videos to get out for this week and I'm slightly behind. Realities. Let me find a few more questions. Let's get some quick ones out of the way. And Philly can help me answer some. Oh, here's a good one. Am I quicker than Philly?
Cat.
I think so. On the bike I am, yeah. Am I?
Quicker at making mistakes. Ha.
Ha. That was a good burn, babe. Here's a good one that I think Philly will have some good tips on. Best tips to grow your Instagram/YouTube, as Philly is filming for her Instagram right now. Go on, what's your top tip for growing your Instagram or YouTube?
Try and think of some original... What the hell is wrong with your phone? Try and think of some ways that you can share what's originally you, rather than copying anyone else. And trial and error. Like, throw some stuff out there, see what works, what people enjoy. Also, Instagram likes consistency.
Yeah.
So you can't expect to grow your Instagram if you're posting once a month. You need to try and figure out what's realistic for you and be consistent with that. It might be twice a week, you know, that's still fine. Some people do it every day. I find that a little bit exhausting, so I try and do sort of like 5 days a week personally, but you can ease up to that point if you want to get there.
And I think there's a I think that she's covered most of the points I was going to mention as well, but I think there's something in the 1% rule. If you haven't heard of it, it's basically like every time you create something, you try to do it 1% better every time. And obviously, when you're making content every day or every week, it's hard to do that, but keep your mind on trying to make the content better, elevating it every single time you create a new piece of content. A few people asking about what my running goals are, what I want PBs to be, all that good stuff. Now, there's 3 tiers. At the bottom tier, the foundational kind of goals are just to stay fit and healthy and to keep running. Since I started running, I've been out twice with little niggles, and I want to try really, really hard to at least get a big block of training, a big block of fitness without getting any kind of niggles. Hopefully in preparation for a half marathon, which comes onto my next kind of tier. And that's what I would call, I don't know, the broad brush strokes. Number 1, I want to hit 5,000 subscribers on this channel so that I can put myself in for a half marathon and then do that. Doing a half marathon, the idea of that a year ago was like, never gonna do one. Philly can tell you that I didn't want to run anything. Marathon, half marathon, wasn't interested. So that's one of my big goals. I think it's just, this tier includes like putting a marker down for everything. So I've obviously run a reasonably fast 5K. I want to run another 10K just to see how fast I can run. I've done one in my life and I think I ran it at about 59 minutes. So I just want to test myself and see what I can do. The same with the half marathon and potentially even the marathon when I hit 10,000 subscribers on this channel. Just to kind of see where I am. And then once I've done that, then maybe we can look at very specific goals in terms of PBs. And then that brings me up to the little top of the pyramid where maybe I am getting a bit more specific. I feel like with my 5K, I'm at 24:50 something for my PB. I'd really love to get that down to like 23, 22, and big goals for kind of over the next couple of years. It'd be really cool to go sub 20 at some point, but that I think I know that needs at least like a year plus of base fitness and just, you know, that's difficult. 5K, 10K, I'd love to go sub 50 at some point. No, maybe not for my first one. I haven't even thought about my goals for the half marathon, let alone the marathon, but for the half marathon, in my head, I'd like to run a half marathon at the same speed as Philly runs her marathon. So 2:29, or hopefully faster than that by the time I get to it. So yeah, those are my running goals. And yeah, but as I said, the big goal at the moment is just to keep fit, keep gaining the fitness, and keep enjoying what I'm doing. Happy Sunday. Here we are again. Long run day. 60 minutes on deck today. We've gone down a little bit more relaxed today, which is good. I'm going to do a question before and a question after my long run, and then we're going to call it there. Thank you for all of your questions. Some of them were fun, some of them were very cheeky, but I've loved answering them. Someone asks, do you think Philly will get to the Olympics? This is such an easy question because the answer is definitely yes. The trajectory that she's going on, the dedication that I've seen and the change in attitude that I've seen from Philly from when we've obviously first met, but when she, after America, got back into running really, really seriously, that kind of trajectory is skyrocketing, and it's gonna get there. She's gonna get to the Olympics, I have no doubt. At the moment, for next year, Paris, it's slim, and not because I don't think she's good enough. I think she's gonna run the qualifying time in the next marathon at Houston, but it's just down to how, unfortunately, British athletics are just not in a good place at the moment. Anyway, she's gonna get to the Olympics, whether it's Paris, LA, can't remember what the next one is, but she'll get there. All right, another week done. Another week of training in the bag. Oh, let me have a look at my Strava, see what the mileage is. Now, I kept saying this week and in last week's video that Philly was gonna bring me down, but we talked about it and we thought it was probably best if I just kind of keep it the same, because this coming week with Copenhagen, it will be easier to bring the mileage down a bit, so it's just not so annoying to be running on an away and concentrating on other things. And then also we've got the 5K the next week, so just bringing it down a little bit just to bear in mind that. So nothing's really changed. Last week we had 20.88, which was the biggest week ever, and this week we have 20.77. So only 0.1 of a mile less than last week. But it's good, we're banking the miles, which is fantastic. Now, I wanted to finish the Q&A on one of my favorite questions. And this person sent in a very similar question to when Philly did the Q&A. Eden Scarlett, apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, says, snog, marry, kill. It's such a weird concept with the things I'm about to say, but snog, marry, kill, acting, editing, being a chef. The one thing that I'm gonna kill is probably being a chef, right? If I had to pick out any of those things, the thing that I wouldn't wanna do ever again is probably being a chef. Philly's just walked into the room. What?
You're never gonna cook for me ever again?
This is a hypothetical question.
I'm gonna starve. What am I gonna eat? I'm never gonna have anything else to eat ever again. I'm gonna die. Oh my God.
Oh, what I've got to live with, hey? I would kill being a chef. It's probably the thing that I like the least. Then I would probably snog, weirdest thing to say, editing. It pays the bills. It's something that I really enjoy. Marry that with the content creation of this channel and the stuff that I do filming Philly. Absolutely snog that. So weird. And then I would marry acting. If I could do only one of those things for the rest of my life, it would be acting. So again, if there's any casting directors out there, if there's anyone casting for a film, please employ me. Anyway, thank you guys for all your amazing questions. You smashed the assignment, so thank you for all of those awesome questions. And if you enjoyed the content, like the video, subscribe, and make sure you got the notification bell turned on, because next week I'm going behind the scenes of what it takes to film big race of fillies in Copenhagen. Copenhagen half. We're coming for you. All right, see you next week.